Hello, Money Mastery! Oh my God! Oh, I'm so freaking excited for this program. Let me invite 1, 2, 3. Oh, it doesn't even almost have everybody on here. Sorry, sometimes Facebook does this and it doesn't let me invite everybody, but I've invited who it's allowing me to invite. And the rest of you will just have to remember that this was the time for the welcome training. Okay, hold please. This is really good. I've kind of trained myself to like strong coffee. I don't know what the deal is. So, welcome to my bedroom. For those of you who have not been joined, let's not talk about joining in the bedroom. For those of you who have not been in my bedroom, welcome to my bedroom. We are running the training in the bedroom because I'm also a homeschool teacher now of 2 little rugrats. So that's the way it's rolling. Okay, so let's get this ball going. Let me see. I wrote down the things to make sure I didn't forget anything because life's been crazy lately. Okay. So, the first thing I want you guys to know is, sorry, my team's just sending some stuff through. Just making sure it's nothing important for this. Everybody got in? Yes. Okay. All right. So here's the deal. I know people are always all around the world when we do these trainings. So of course the times of the live trainings will be rotated. Some of them will be in the morning. Some of them will be at night. Some of them will be audio training. Some of them will be workbooks. I don't know yet. We'll see. I've never taught this much stuff all at once in one program. And it's like absolutely vital stuff. So I'm just going to create it however I feel like each piece of it will help support you in learning it the best. You know what I'm saying? So however I feel like is the best way for you to learn it is how I'm going to do it. I'm thinking in my head, it's probably going to be a handful of longer trainings. Good morning, Adana. I'm thinking in my head, it's going to be a handful of longer trainings with implemented Q&As in between. So you'll have implementation time in between to do it, have questions come up, and then I'll do Q&As with you guys. I'm going to have a Q&A feed. I can put that in the group right now. And then the Q&A thread. So the Q&A thread will be in the announcement so you can always find it. And it's for any questions you could possibly have throughout this training, okay? Market's announcement. Okay, so that's the Q&A thread in there. So we're gonna do a handful of longer trainings to really get the concept across to you guys, and then we'll have the Q&A, and then we'll do Q&As in between for me to answer all of the questions, because my intention for this program is that every single person says to me, I get it. I get it, Mandy, I get it, right? Like I actually get this. And this is what I want you to get. My intention is for you to get what is the art of making money right now versus what everybody else is doing. Because let me just tell you, I mean, it drives me nuts. Probably why I'm so friggin' excited about this program is I sit here and I watch what everybody else is doing. I mean, I friggin' watch them. It's like everyone's distracted by, you know, I need opt-ins and fancy websites and fancy, you know, graphics, and I need to figure out how to make my sales page look better, and I need to, and it's like on, and they do webinars and read this book and listen to this audio thing and take all these different trainings. And meanwhile, they haven't made making money the priority. So the very obvious things that you could be doing, I say to my clients, hi, Lena. I say to my clients, like, you win the award for leaving the most amount of money on the table. And let's just be real. If you're making money, it means you're making impact, right? Because we're not the kind of people who just make the sale and don't follow through. So in this program, I'm going to make sure that you feel like not only, and you guys actually get, so not, hold on, let me finish one thought at a time. I definitely a little more ADD than usual, not being able to go frolic around the world right now. My thought was, I'm going to make sure that you also feel like you know how to back that and deliver on the other end and get the results with your clients, right? And so sometimes the result is just the aha realization. My result in this program actually isn't that you make money right now. That's on you. That's your work. I'm not going to do that work for you. My result that I want for you is that you're like, I get it. I see it. Like what's in Mandy's head on how to do this, how she created that 400K that very first year, what's in her head is now in my head, and like, I get it. I get this. And then, and you'll see, actually, I'll go through it in this training. I'm going to just walk everything out. You guys are going to see exactly how we're going to go through this training. But when I watch other people, I'm watching everyone else put all these things first, and they're not doing the obvious things to make money. And then they're frustrated and overwhelmed, and they have tax brain. I don't know why I call it that. It's like they just shovel all this stuff into their head without implementing, or they're shoveling it in and implementing some of it. So they're still in overwhelm, but then they're also exhausted because they're implementing, and it's not working because they're not doing the things to make money that are very, very simple. And this is for everyone and anyone who's coming online to do online. It doesn't matter if you have a physical product, a knowledge-based product, doesn't friggin' matter, right? And it's really interesting because I was kind of shocked to see, like, why is nobody else doing this? Sorry, my son's in the kitchen. He has headphones on, so he has no idea how loud he's being. He's working out. Like, it's just kind of shocking to me. And I realized, oh, it was because I was so naive going into this that I didn't actually consider anything else. And had I actually had the wisdom, maybe it would have been more of a struggle to walk this out. But I didn't, thank God, right? So, yes, I'm going to rotate the video training times. I already saw somebody mention that. Somebody always does in the programs. So this is how it works. Each training, it's going to be here in the Facebook group. Everything will be posted here first. Sometime during the week, the team will put it in your membership area. By the end, everything will be in your membership area. You'll have full lifetime access. The Facebook group will close probably a week or two after we finish the program. The Facebook group will close. And then all your stuff will be housed in the membership area. Also, when we run trainings, you will get an email notification of the training, so you can go through, access it that way, or you can just come in here in the Facebook group and access the training that way. But make sure that you actually go into your membership site area. If you don't know how to do that, just email support@mandyperry.com. Make sure you're set up in there, because we used to leave the Facebook groups open for a while, but now we're closing them because there's just so many programs, we have to close them. Oh, right. The platinums, my platinums. Okay. So my platinums in here, I'm reaching out to you all directly. You should have already gotten a message from me for the 2-hour call. I'll book that directly with you. And then my team for the VIPs and everybody else, for the platinum and the VIPs, my team will reach out and send you the link to book the 20-minute call with me. Okay. So there's repeated times each week, and then I'll be added some, like I go in usually on Thursdays and add some additional times for the next week, but there's like already set times that are just there. So if you want to plan ahead and schedule them out, you can, the 4 calls that you get. And if you want to just go in and schedule each week, that's fine too. I'm very excited to do the personal calls. It's my favorite thing. It's my absolute favorite thing. Like hopping on the phone with you. It's like how I get to know you, and my laser coaching is on point. So I can serve you really like tremendously in the 20-minute calls. If you're still looking to upgrade, if you want to upgrade to a VIP or platinum, feel free, just reach out to me or my team and we'll get you hooked up for that. Okay. All right. So what I want to do is kind of draw this out for you. Like I want to spell out for you, like what's going to happen in Money Mastery. And basically I'm going to give you an overview in your head, and just this is going to shift your life tremendously. Right. So, like Lena's gotten a touch of some of these. Adana's one of my diamonds. Lena's one of my apprenticeships. So I'm going to give you an overview in your head that if you really get, is going to really excite you to the ends of the earth, because this isn't just about making money. I'm smart enough to take a skill that I have that works in my life tremendously and has brought amazing things. Like all the moments when I cry in gratitude, like watching my daughter float around on her big floaty in the pool, drinking her coffee with her unicorn thing with the palm trees blowing in the background. Like this is her morning, versus like 4 years ago when we were in this shithole basement apartment that I used to be really grateful for, by the way. But looking back, it's like, wow, I can't believe I was proud of myself for being grateful even for that. But we had the shithole apartment with like water stains everywhere, and it smelled like mildew, and we kept getting sick from it. And like, just like those moments where I'm crying, or the moment when I just like fell on the ground and I started crying because I bought groceries and it was organic, and the doctor told me that my kids needed to be more in organic foods because they were diagnosed with some stuff. And then I remember the first time ever I went to the grocery store, I didn't pay with food stamps, and I also didn't have to count the money to see if I had enough money. I knew there was enough money in the count. I could have bought anything in the grocery store and there was enough money. And I remember that day, like I was pulling the groceries out of my car and I had to walk like across the road to get to the thing to go to my house. And I just fell down and started bawling. And when I looked back, so when this whole world global thing happened, I asked myself one question, like, what is your magic, Mandy? Like, if you were coming here and you were just going to serve the people and you were like going to do anything in the world, what is the thing that you bring to the table? And it like hit me like boom. And I was like, every moment that I've been grateful for has been because I know how to do 2 things. And the tips and tricks, I bonus this for a reason. The value I give in that program is unbelievable. It's like almost 2-hour training. Do that training. It's it's so much good shit in that training. And what I realized is my gift is knowing how to clear all the bull. And this was probably because I had so much trauma to work through. I was a single mom of 2 and I was working full time. I was going to school full time. I was going to therapy. I was like, literally 16-hour days of just like learning how to focus. I was diagnosed with, ADHD and PTSD after the military and stuff. And so, but it wasn't actually from the military. I know why I was diagnosed with PTSD. It had nothing to do with the military, but that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it worked out. Anyways, I just think that's funny because people always assume that, but I don't like when they assume that. Ergo, I'm mentioning it. Okay. Anyways, what I learned was like in those working like 16-hour days, learning down to focus and like really like rewiring my whole brain and system, I created some powerful shit that I had no idea how powerful it was. Because back then I just was a single mom on welfare trying to learn how to put food on the table. And like I was nannying for this family, and I was like, how the fuck do they do this? Like I was so baffled. Every day I kind of wanted to die. I didn't want to kill myself, even though I had attempted suicide, but I wanted to die. Like I was just like, if I faded away, that would be really great. Like my kids would be fine. And that was really the only thing that always stopped me, because I would try to tell myself they'd be fine, but I knew they wouldn't. But I really just would have been okay with dying. Like I wasn't happy, right? And I was trying to figure out like these people, I could tell they were happy. They also had a house. Their kids were taken care of. They made good jobs. The husband and wife got along and stayed married and like traveled around the world. And I was so baffled, like what fucking planet does, like, what's happening here? And I saw all the different kind of things that happened inside of their home that were so different that happened inside of my home, like the way they protected the kids from this news and just like all these different little things. And like they would plan things ahead of time, like every day on Memorial Day they would open up the pool. I think it was Memorial Day, that holiday. And I just remember being so mystified by these things. Anyways, it was really like, that was my life. So I didn't recognize the power of the skill that I was building through those years of 16-hour days and really rewiring my entire system. So when this whole, global pandemic happened in the world, I know if you're on the replay, this is the time period. Sorry, I got something in my eye. The replay, if you're on the replay, we are dead smack in the middle of the global pandemic and in quarantine. So that's the time period of this. But when I asked myself that question, like, how can I show up and serve people the best? It was really my understanding of that gift that I developed in that period translates to every single area of my life. And every moment that I've had, that's like so much gratitude that I'm crying, comes back to the ability to do that. And that's what brought the results that make me so grateful and so happy in every area of my life. And that's what I'm teaching you in this program. I was just smart enough to house it into making money, because why not? We're going to need a vehicle, right? Like you have to get in the vehicle and go through the terrain. So I just picked money making as the vehicle. Plus, on top of it, my second skill, this is why I picked money making, because I would have picked whatever truly would work the best for you guys. Money making is what works you best. But on top of that, my second greatest skill was the art of being able to, because of so much shit that I had going on, really just be like, nope, not that, not that, not that, not that, not that. And I didn't really have a big ego, right? Because of someone asked me this in an interview and I did not tell the truth. They asked me why I don't give a shit what people think. And I don't remember, I did a post about it, but I don't remember what my answer was. Like, I was just kind of born that way, which is kind of true, but that's not really true. What's really true is I went through so much fucked up shit when I was a kid that yeah, this is small potatoes compared to that. Like that stuff that I went through, that massive, wild humiliation that I learned to just make no big deal because that's how I survived. This is small potatoes compared to that. Like there's nothing you can do or say or throw at me that's going to even come close to embarrassing me compared to the shit that I happened to when I was a kid. And like, I wasn't going to say that, right? Like explaining to my friends why I think that's the post I did. Like try to explain to my friends why my mom dug up a dead dog and tried to bring it back to life. Like try to explain that to your friends when you're a young kid. Like, like you're the weird one and you have to explain this shit. And so it's just like, yeah, nothing really matters. But because of that sort of ability that I had to just really dismiss what people thought or said, I was so used to people misjudging me and people making assumptions about me, even like from being really transparent. I remember going through a phase where my son's father accused me of beating my son, like went to the police station and accused me. It was just a way of getting back at me for something I did. And like I remember like I had to go there and the whole police force looked at me like I was this piece of shit mom that beat my kid. Because Calvin had a bruise on his leg and he told him it was from me. And then DCYF was called and all this stuff. obviously DCYF did a really good job and found out that, and actually my ex ended up getting in trouble because the truth always finds its way out. But like those moments of like pure shame where people looking at you like something different, I was so used to that it just like didn't matter to me anymore. And I remember even then it like didn't matter. I knew who I was as a mom. All that matters is that my son was safe. I didn't give a shit what these people thought. Like, who are you? Fuck you. I don't know you. You know what I mean? Like, think what you want. It doesn't matter. And I grew up, like I went through so many circumstances where that was a thing, that when I began my business that first year, I didn't realize I had all these powerful things I was bringing to the table, and they were all learnable. They're all learnable things. They're all very easy to learn. And yes, it takes time to season them out and get them. But what happened was, because I didn't give a shit what people thought, because I didn't listen to them, like I just assumed they had no idea, because you don't know the real me. And they would, make fun of me like, you just keep bouncing, you never stick to anything. But I knew what was happening was I would see a hole and I would leap through it. The second I would see a hole and I could go to that next level, I would leap through it. I didn't give a shit what anybody said. Fuck you, I don't care. Everybody thinks I'm the dumb blonde girl, whatever, right? So that skill and those qualities brought together enabled me to really figure out the very things to do to make money and serve my people and leave an impact, which were the only two things I cared about. Take care of my kids, take care of my family, be able to take care of my mom and dad when they're older, be able to take care of myself so my kids didn't have to stress about taking care of me, and really, really help people, like help them go, like if I could help them go through the season of life trying to figure out the point of life and have freedom and success, untangle their thinking that was keeping them trapped the way they were, then I would be the happiest fucking human being on the planet. And it was like, that's what I locked into, so nothing else mattered. I didn't give a shit whose stuff looked better than mine and who was selling what for what price point. I didn't give a shit about anything. I was like a horse with those, trainers on, and I was just fucking galloping. Like I was going to the finish line. And the finish line was making money to take care of my kids and my family and make sure I wasn't a burden to my kids, and help fucking people who were actually willing to show up and do the work and willing to like put something into it and own where they were at and own their own shit and really show up and really like do this back end work of what it takes to be successful, because there's people out there who will and people out there who won't, and that's what it is. And I wanted to be available for the people who would, and that's it, right? So by doing that, what I did was, of course, I learned that skill to be able to get myself to show up the way I couldn't, like the way I previously hadn't been able to show up. Like, how do you actually rewire yourself to be able to get yourself to do something you can't get yourself to do? And then also I learned how to really hone in on the tasks to make money now. And so from that seasoned place of now helping thousands of people by this point, and my company went global that first year, and like it was really a fucking wild ride. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been really wild, and I still have a long way to go. You know what I mean? I learned to go from that welfare girl to a very wealthy, owning a corporation. I always want to call it an incorporation because it's an incorporated. Okay, I gotta look that up. Is it an incorporation? It's not, right? A corporation is incorporated? I don't know these things. Anyway, I have Mandy Perry Inc., which is incorporated, and it went global, and I have a team that I run, and it was only been 4 years, and there's still things I need to learn. Like, I'm not going to run a training anytime soon on how to utilize the mass wealth that you've created in the most effective way. I don't know how to do that yet. And quite honestly, up until now, I kind of fucked up. Like, I realized I was being manipulated and I was being careless. Like, I was allowing myself to be manipulated. I'm not blaming anyone else. That shit was on me. I told myself a story that I was foggy brained and I had to clean up everybody's messes just to give myself freedom. It was very selfish. I did that shit because that's what I wanted. I wanted to not deal with any of that stuff. And then I had to call my ass to more and start dealing with it. And I put myself in a bad position a couple times, and I've overgiven way too much a couple times. And now I've learned how to invest a little bit of money. I've learned how to, maximize like running my money through credit cards and getting those points back for the company. And I've learned, what to do with, I've gotten, life insurance policy for 3 million for my kids and like the back end of wealth. And really I had to make a choice because poverty life and wealth life are so fucking different. What you do and how you think about your money is so fucking different. But I'm not that good at all of that shit. And quite honestly, I've been really bad with my money. I just been a little bit careless, like, oh, it's all just shifting it, right? Because so much was coming in. It's like my brain didn't really comprehend it almost. I don't know how to explain it. But I'm not going to run a program on that anytime soon. And that's not what money mastery is, because I'm not that good at that shit, right? Go to other people for that shit. I can actually tell you who to go to for that shit. What I'm good at is clearing all of the bullshit and getting really crystal clear. This is the shit to make money. This is what we do to do it. This is how I get myself to show up and do it. That's what I'm good at. And I feel like that's a solid skill for any fucking human being on the planet, for any fucking area of your life. So the 2 skills that I want you guys to learn in this, that I want everyone to say, I get it, Mandy, is 1, this is what we're doing to make money. Fuck all the rest of that bullshit. Never even needed to get done. All of that stuff you think that needs to get done, never needed to get done. This is going to replace all of that shit. And number 2 is, how do I get myself to then show up and actually do it? What's the process to get myself to do that? That process is a process. It's fucking work. It's the work everybody loves to ignore, but it is what it is, right? So I'm going to spell this out for you. Hi, Jacqueline. Good morning, Mastery. Yeah. Okay, who else is here? I see eyeballs, but only 3 comments. Say hi to me in the comments. Okay, thus far, I really want to hear from you guys. How are you feeling about money mastery? How are you feeling about actually putting eyes on focusing on the money, right? Because one of the things I know for people is focusing on money can be a big deal. Like literally just cleaning the fucking money up, looking at the money, tracking the money, knowing what the money is. You know what I mean? Like daring to have hope that we can actually shift into making a shit ton of money. Owning the fact that we've been careless with money. Whatever it is, right? Just how are you feeling about the money mastery program? What's coming up for you? Even just the things we talked about, because what I'm about to do, Adana scared. Good morning, Catherine. You're in Money Mastery. I didn't even know. Yay. I'm so excited. Okay. So Adana, that's a really honest answer. Scared. That's a common feeling for everyone. So before I run through this, because I'm about to go through this list right here that's going to blow your fucking mind, okay? But what I want you to know is, and if you're just hopping on, make sure you watch the beginning of this, okay? It's really important. So even though it's just some stuff about my life, it's really going to give you some grounding and footing on what we're about to go through, because this is extraordinary. Like I've come to the place that I can own that this is fucking extraordinary. Anything that can take the fucked up human being I was on welfare and move me to where I am is fucking extraordinary, right? And I just feel really grateful that I've been able to sort of decipher it and pick it apart. It took me some time, right? It's one thing to walk it out, but it's a whole other thing to be able to then actually mold it into something that you can teach to people and they can go get the results themselves as well, right? Like that's a whole different thing. It's like recreatable results is a big deal. And it took me some time to be able to do that. And it took results with other clients for me to really build my confidence behind it. And I now come from the place of understanding this is fucking extraordinary. It is fucking extraordinary. And it's my honor to download this shit to you guys. Lena is up and down. So effing ready. Move from hope to faith. That was born to do this. Oh, I love it. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm going to run through this overview, but this is what I want you to know. What I want you to understand is I'm going to delve into every single one of these. All I'm doing right now is showing you what's coming because I feel it'll serve you. Most of the time when I run trainings, it doesn't serve you to have the overview. I just want you to stay focused on the one step. I still want you to remember the gift and the skill of focusing on the one step in front of you. Like this is the one fucking step in front of you. Just focus on this one step, throw everything at it, do everything for this one step, like show up with this one step for excellence. Because when you show up with excellence for this one fucking step, the next step is illuminated. And you can't possibly know that step until you've done this one, right? So of course I want you to do that. But I actually think for this program, it really serves you to have an overview of like, okay, holy shit, I see how this whole thing comes together. Right? And it's an art and a skill that's you're gonna feel clunky at first, and we're gonna go through each single piece so that you can master each step of it. But we're gonna start with how to make money right now. Like literally you can go and implement it today after this training if that's what you desire. Okay. And it's also shit that's it's not, I don't know if I want to put that in your head. It's possible that it'll feel temper tantrum-y when I it's like, I don't know if I can do that, right? But if you just remember that your system right now is wired to make it complex, to make it hard, to make it like, I have to figure out all of these things. You've probably been comparing yourself to other people and how they're doing it and how that looks and which one of these am I supposed to fucking do and all this other mayhem. And you haven't really given yourself permission to just be like, let this be easy. Because the first thing, and let me tell you, I've worked with some really fucking high-end people, like multi-millionaires that are crushing it doing online. And there's been a handful of them that when I've taught them, they made extraordinary income in a short, literally within 6 days, like unbelievable. And actually, I'm going to teach you guys the drop offer. So you guys are going to be bonused that. So you guys are getting the tips and tricks bonus, the purpose program to give clarity to what your message is and what you stand for, right? And then my daily sales tasks, which we're actually going to run through today too. And then also the new workshop that I have coming up. I'm going to have a whole lot of workshops coming up, 97 quick, like low end workshops that are really powerful. And it's going to be the drop offer. So that's going to be bonus to you guys. Just in case you didn't hear, don't purchase that one. You guys are getting that for free as a bonus for you guys, because the drop offer is a powerful skill. I've literally sold $45,000 in a very short amount of time. And I'll explain this more in the program, but for you guys to understand, part of what you're going to contend with in this program is but that only works for you, Mandy. That's not going to work for me. And you'll take the ease of it off the table because in your head, you're too scared that the easy thing won't work and it'll be proof that another thing won't work. Instead of like, just viewing it as, oh, I'm going to do this thing and what's the harm if it doesn't fucking work, which is how I look at it. Part of what I want to do here is download how I think when I do something, because that's why it's so easy and works for me, right? So it's really just the art of being able to let the easy fucking thing be easy and show up and do the easy fucking thing and do it really well and not be attached to the outcome and continue to keep doing the easy things. Do you hear what I'm saying? So when I work with these high-end people, it's really interesting because the people that have worked so hard and made it be so complicated, they are so attached to not allowing it to be easy because then they will regret how much work they put into all this other stuff. And I'm like, who fucking cares? You figured it out how you figured it out. Now we're just adding some easy shit. This is just another avenue of making money, right? It's like another way to make money really easily. And the ones that actually didn't let their ego and they're stuck on I feel valuable because I've struggled through something so hard and I figured out something so complex, and they're stuck on that and they can't break through that and let it be easy, or they're so afraid that if they try the easy thing, it'll make the other thing tumble, or they're just afraid of the failure of feeling the failure of, I don't understand this, I can't control this, so therefore I'm not going to do it because I want to do what I can control and I know this is familiar. Even though it's fucking hard and I'm exhausted and overwhelmed, this is familiar. So before I go through this list, I just want to put out there, we're going to go in through these step by step throughout the program. I'm just giving you an overview of the program. These are things you can implement right away. And I want you to start challenging this story of like, this isn't going to work for me, or this doesn't get to be easy. Because remember, what you write it in, let's say it's a drop offer and you write a drop offer. You guys will learn what that is, right? You write a drop offer. If the energy you're writing it in is like, I hope this works. What if it doesn't work? Oh my God, that's how they're going to feel it when they read it. The slightness of your words, the word choice, the energy, if you put an exclamation or a period, all of that changes because of how you feel, right? I'm being dramatic about it, but that's real, right? There's a lot more to it, but even if it was just tangible, there's tangible shit to it. Recognizing my pattern to retreat and do it on my own when shit hits the fan in life. Not in this program, right? That actually reminds me, thank you, Jacqueline. I'm gonna put your celebration thread in here. Let's do this a different color. You know, the ones that they give you, the choices that they give you for the background photo on your computer are the worst ones. On your phone, you can do good ones. Okay, I'm posting the celebration thread. The celebrations thread is everything. Anyone who works with me knows this, right? Every small little tiny breakthrough is the focus on victory expands the victory. Just like, okay, we're going to focus on money so that the money will expand right now. We're going to focus on easy, happy, fun money so that expands. That's the gift of this program. Celebrations is the container to get there, right? Like every time you learn how to celebrate, like, oh, I only got 3 clients for this program. I fucking got 3 clients for this program. I'm going to serve the shit out of these 3 clients. I am going to give them so much value and show up so big for these fucking 3 clients that they're going to go bring back 3 more. And that's 9. And those 9 will all go get 3 more and bring that back, right? Like it's just a different feeling and a different energy, and you will create a completely different life. So into the celebrations thread. Okay. So are you ready for the overview? Okay. Basically, it's going to look kind of like this. Okay. We set a goal. The goal will be a financial goal, obviously, right? Like I'm going to make 30K this month, whatever your goal is, 10K, 60K, whatever your goal is. I'm going to make not this month as in April or March or May, whatever fucking month this is, whatever fucking year this is, whatever fucking century this is. I don't know anymore because I'm stuck in my fucking house. I really don't know what month it is. April? Whatever. Yeah, because it was April Fool's Day the other day, right? Okay, so, but it's in the next 30 days or in the next week or whatever it is for you. It's going to be an honest goal. Now, whatever. I'll get into the goal setting, okay? But let's say there's just a money goal. Like, okay, that's my fucking car. Here's the container that I'm going to show up for, okay? I'm setting a parameter, and it's not about the fucking goal. It's about having a place to play, a playground, a arena, right? This is my arena to train in. I'm creating an arena for me to train in. And it needs to be one that feels good and like really feels like, fuck, I would have to change to reach that, but I also know that I could do it in that arena, right? Okay. We're going to set a goal. Now, what happens is after you set a goal, you go to take some action, which I'm going to teach you. We'll even go through some of it today, okay? So you're going to have a goal, and then you're going to go to do that goal and take action on that goal, and something's going to trigger you. A thought, a feeling, a result. I did the drop offer. Nobody posted on that one. It didn't sell. I did a Facebook Live, and it was birds chirping. I did the sales page, and it looks like shit. It doesn't look anything like that girl's. I did this, whatever the thing is, you get triggered. Someone tells you something. Someone says something. You wake up super depressed or frustrated or angry. I woke up in the worst fucking mood this morning. Such a bad mood. like, it was so bad. I'm not even on the rag either. I don't know what the deal was. I yelled at my kids, clean up your fucking mess. I was like swearing at my kids, right? And then I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? And I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to go in my room and take care of myself, and you guys go play. And then I came in here and I did a naked dance party, and I shook and I locked into like, what is something that feels good? And it was like, ooh, I have so much value to bring the money mastery program today. I'm going to blow their fucking minds. And I locked into that feeling and just kept dancing until the other stuff shook off a little bit, right? It is what it is. Okay. So I had a trigger this morning. Like, see, Mandy, you're just a depressed kind of girl. Who did you think to be? You could be happy, etc. Right? Whatever the trigger is. After that comes a thought. The thought was, you're just that kind of girl. You're just like your dad. That's a thought that I have. You're like your dad. You're just going to be depressed and miserable and sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix and waste your life. Why are you even trying to do this? Just quit now. Just fucking stop. You already fucked shit up, blah, 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 right? And so we have a thought, and then after the thought, there's a feeling and emotion. So our work is to actually set the arena. Now we start going. Okay, we're going. I'm going to teach you the actions as well. And then as we're doing those actions that are the money-making actions, we have a thought that comes up. Our work is to capture the thought. Hey, what was that thought? It's always been like, just goes through, and I never really captured it. Hey, let me take that thought and let's look at the thought. Oh, you're afraid you're going to be like your dad. Okay, interesting. You have this story that you're really a depressed kind of person. You're being a fraud. You're pretending you're fucking happy. You're not fucking happy, Mandy. You're this depressed, miserable lump. You're antisocial. You don't know how to make friends. You don't, right? Blah, blah, blah. So then I take that thought, like, okay, let's take that thought and put it down, right? Our work is to then rewire that thought so that we have a different emotion behind it. Now, once you start actually capturing your specific thoughts, this is so different than what everyone else does. Track with me for a second, because I know you've heard this shit. This isn't life-changing, but actually walking it out is. Listen to me. What most people do is they'll just say, oh, this person says I should think about this. I should focus on this. I should do this. I should do that. And we just start doing what everyone, like, oh, okay, I need to do crystals and oils. And okay, I need to learn about this human design. Okay, I need to fucking focus on this. I need to do this. I need to learn memberships. And what everyone else is telling you you need to do, you just start doing, right? Without getting really fucking clear. Hey, what was the thought that just kicked your ass? What was the belief in there that just kicked your ass and stopped you from following through with the thing that you committed to yourself that you would do, that you know will give you everything you fucking want right now? What I do is I get crystal clear what that thing is. Like, hey, that thought right there, that thought just kicked your ass, and we need to rewire that one thought right there. That one trigger that you just had needs to get rewired, so my reaction to it is different. So there's a trigger, and then there's a thought. The thought creates an emotion, and the emotion creates the action that you take. The action creates the result. Fucking basic, right? But what most people don't do is stop on that thought. And not just that, right? The tips and tricks is going to serve you with this. Once we have that thought, it's like, hey, share it in the group. Let us know. And then we do the work to rewire it. Then we just pour shit onto it. It's like just tons of gasoline and get that fire fucking roaring so that we are instantly transforming. Once I get clear on a thought that's kicking my ass, I am like laser locked. I'm like fucking Marine Corps Mandy. Like that shit's not coming out of my line of fire until it's rewired. So I will show up every fucking day, all day long, and I will listen to YouTube videos. I will listen to any fucking thing that I need to just pour gasoline on that until it's a raging fire and it just burns all the old shit out of my system until it's like I believe the new belief, so that my reaction, my emotion to the thing is different. Now, how that serves me is, let's say, what was it? December, I made a really bad investment. It was perfect. The shit that I learned from it was amazing, but it was a challenge to overcome that. Like it's still a challenge that I'm working on, and sometimes like it feels like an elephant on my chest. Like, you fucked up. You're a little toddler in this business and you fucked up, right? So that voice will come in. But what happened is I have wired myself to be like, this is child's play. This fucking is so easy. And instantly my whole entire being believes that. I really am like, oh, this is so easy. Even though 2 seconds before I was completely overwhelmed and like, fuck, I have no idea how to do this. This is horrible. Like, you fucked up, Mandy. And then 2 seconds later, boom, this is child's play. This is child's play. I've wired that into my system so I can shift and snap into this is child's play and then back that energy. And of course, the action I take right after that is so significantly different because I've really just believed and shifted into the belief that this is fucking easy. But this belief came from doing the process I'm going to take you guys through. So it's actually recognizing the thought, doing the work to rewire the thought, which I'll teach you, and then actually just pouring shit onto that specific thing. That one specific belief, rewiring it using free resources, paid resources, whatever. You want to fucking pay? You want to go on a free webinar? You want to join a program? You want to pay for something? You're doing it for that specific thing, or 2 or 3 that you've recognized, a little cluster that runs together, and you're hammering those fucking thoughts and those beliefs and those wirings that you have in your system until it goes away, because a belief is nothing more than something you've told yourself over and over. So we tell ourselves something new over and over, and then we do all of these tricks to fucking saturate it, to move it now. So you don't need to go to a fucking intervention. You don't need to wait 6 months. You don't have to go to therapy. All of those things are great. Do all of them, but you don't have to. There are ways to rewire the shit really deep and really fast right now when you target it. And I don't know why nobody taught me that. Why is nobody fucking talking about that? I have no idea. This is the missing link that I was talking about between when we talk about manifesting, like I'm going to manifest and just fucking do it. Nope. Sometimes those are great, right? Like, now that I've rewired it, now that I've done the work, just fucking deciding that this gets to be easy, I can do that. But there's something had to come before that. I couldn't just magically feel that way and believe that in the very beginning before I did the work to rewire, right? And I also can't just sit there and manifest and think that if I don't take the aligned action for the thing that I want, that it's going to come to me. And I can't get myself to do the thing if I'm in resistance. So what I'm teaching you how to create is unresisted action. Unresisted momentum, unresisted opening to having the thing that you want, right? We're removing the resistance to it by targeting it and then flooding it in. So this is when it's a different feeling, when you've locked into something that's stopping you and holding you back and is creating that resistance, and you're actively moving and removing that. The feeling that you get when you pour into your soul from that place, when you hire the coach, hey, this is the pattern I'm trying to recreate. This is the thing blocking me or stopping me. This is going to teach you how to have powerful questions to ask in this program, with one-on-ones with me, with any coach that you ever hire, how to know what content to absorb and to actually spend your money on, how to actually use your resources to move the dial forward, what to spend your time on, what to focus on, and remove all that other shit. And as you're doing it, as you're laser focusing on these things that are moving the dial forward for you, you get to actually take a step. Each time you do it, you're taking a step. And the steps we're taking are just the money-making things, not all the other bullshit that we thought we needed to do because we're trying to make up for the fact that we won't show the fuck up and do the things. Do you see what I'm saying? So much mischief is erased in this process. Okay, so then we take the action, making the money the priority. And then it looks like this, okay? So listen to me. Okay, what are the things I do to make money? How about sit your ass down in a chair? All my clients already know this because I make all of them do it. You sit your ass down in a chair and you write 100 ways to make money. 100 fucking ways to make money. Guess how many of my clients have actually followed through and sent me their 100 ways to make money? Guess what we're doing in this program? You're going to post your 100 ways to make money in the fucking group and tell me when it's done. You're going to tag me and tell me when it's done. We'll get to that, right? You can start on that now if you want to, but really it's really fun. And when I said after this training, you'll have action steps to take, that's one of them. Like, and it's not just 100 ways to make money. It's what's the fastest, funnest, easy way I could make money right now? That's the real question. Fucking fastest, funnest way I can make money right now, right? For me, it was like, oh, the workshop that I just posted. Like, I want to teach you guys that anyway. That wasn't part of the curriculum, but I want to add that anyway. I'll throw that in as a bonus, launch it out to my email, add that as a bonus. People probably are joining because of that specific bonus. Then the workshop, I'm selling the workshop, then we'll throw it up on the website to make more money on the website, right? And now I'm going to teach you guys how to not need a team to do anything, not have a website, not need to do anything fancy. That's the whole fucking point, is to be able to do this without being fancy. But it's like, that was one of the ways I was like, oh, I could just do these one-off workshops. I've been dying for my clients to be able to know that how to do all of these really easy, powerful things. And I can just do one-off workshops, and we're creating a page on the website that's like $97 and under. These are all the trainings for $97 and under. I'm gonna have $7 trainings, 27, 47, 67, 97, and on the page, and it'll be all like specific things that they want to learn. So that was just one of the ways I came up with easy, fast way to make money. So simple. I'll do a one-off training for all of these different topics. So simple. That way people have their choice, right? But there's 100 different ways. Now, here's the other piece of it. So first we're going to do that. What happens is when you do that, something will come up that you're like, oh, that's fucking brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. That's fucking brilliant. And you'll know the things to do. Like, they'll just hit you. It's like, oh my God, that would be so much fun. I would love that. As you're doing that, now you're going to have your money-making task, right? And I show you my daily sales tasks. You guys got that as a bonus. If you didn't, I think there was a little bit of communication mishap with the team. They thought they were waiting on me, but it had already been created, something like that. So if you don't have it, it will be added to your membership site and posted in here soon. But it's the daily sales task that I do every single day, just as an idea, like, oh, these are all ideas of things that I could do. Sometimes when we go to be like, okay, I'm going to do sales tasks, we're like birds chirping. We can't hear anything in our own brain. So I just did that for you. Very simple. Okay. But you're going to do the money-making tasks, and one of them's going to stand out, and you're going to be like, fuck, yes, that, right? And then you're going to go to do that, and you're going to be like, yeah, but nobody sees my content. There's not enough people seeing my content. Boom. There's your magic. Just like the thought, right? That's the thought. Now, when it comes to business savvy, so these are two different skills I'm teaching you. One of them was the thought created the emotion. We rewire that so that the emotion is different, so that the action is different. Unresisted action, okay? Fucking powerful, life-changing. You can use it in every area of your life. Now for your business, this is different. I'm going to teach you how to take the thought that you had and then use creativity to tap into go that. So, okay, it's not a negative thought. That wasn't a negative thought. I don't have enough eyes on my content. That was an awareness. You're aware. I want you to feel the difference. One of them is a belief that's holding you back. One of them is an awareness. I'm aware that I don't have enough eyes on my content. I would like more eyes on my content. Great. Why don't we fucking do something about that? Instead of going and doing all these other webinars on how to get 10K people on my Instagram and all this other shit, let's learn how to get more eyes on my content. Allow that to be the priority. We set the goal, and then the business tells us what our tasks are. We do what's required from the business. The business teaches us what we need to do, and we do that, and then we go fucking play. So I'm going to set my goal. I'm going to do I'm going to capture the thoughts, do the rewiring for that, and then I'm going to learn what my golden money-making tasks are. Tapping into creativity. I'm going to teach you how to do that, and then when that comes up, it's going to bring awarenesses that I used to be like, oh, that's a negative thought, or I'm just going to ignore that, or I have no idea how to do that. I'm going to go learn all these other things instead. I'm going to have you make that the fucking priority. And I'm going to give you everything you need to know that I can possibly serve you on doing whatever comes up for you, because you're going to put it in the Q&A, and then I'm going to do Q&As, and I'm going to teach you all that shit, or I'll tell you it's coming up anyway. And also, you're going to allow that to be the priority. So let's say it was, I'm running a workshop, a free workshop, and I'm going to, sell my one-on-ones at the end of that workshop. But I don't know how to get enough people to see that workshop. Okay. You're going to sit your ass down, and you're going to write 100 fucking ways on how, and by the 20th way, you're probably going to have ideas already. Finishing it is fucking gold, but nobody ever does. Nobody ever does. Sometimes they finish the money-making one. Nobody ever finishes the 100 ways. I have finished the 100 ways probably 50 times, but literally probably in the first 10 or 15, because it's the first times doing this, you're going to come up with brilliant fucking ways to do it. 100 ways to get people to see my workshop. Now, let me just tell you this. I wasn't comparing myself to other people. Nobody was teaching me how to do it. I had a mentor serving me through the mindset stuff, right? But he was definitely not teaching me how to do business. How he was teaching me how to do business was this very complicated Jeff Walker launch system fucking shit that I've never done in my whole life. Oh, that reminds me. Someone just joined the Daily Raw, my free Facebook group. And I was like, what do you want trainings on? And she was like, how to use ClickFunnels. And I was like, you're in the wrong place. Like, have you heard of me yet? That was funny. Anyway, so what I did was just, again, come back to the skill of being a single mom, not having time for the fluff and bullshit. It was just like, oh, I don't fucking know how to get more people to see this offer. Well, what can I do? And I actually stopped and thought about it. Imagine this concept. You actually stop at that thought and be like, ding, ding, ding. I noticed a problem. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to solve the fucking problem. I'm going to ask Mandy. I'm going to come up with my creative ideas. I'm going to write down everything I already know. I'm going to go into a creative space to allow more ideas to come through. I'm going to be like, hey, source, I don't know what your beliefs are, but for me, it's like arms wide open, chest open, heart open, full like belief, like, okay, I got you. I did the work. I noticed this thing. I'm going to allow all these creative ideas to come through and I'm going to capture these creative ideas. Just like the money making things, you're like, this and this are a great idea. For example, okay, we had a mistake. An email went out that shouldn't have for the program coming up, the drop offer program. But in that program, what I was going to do and what I am going to do for the workshops coming up is, let's say that it's $97. I'm going to say if you tag 5 friends below, you get a private link that you can get this for access for $47 or $77, whatever, right? So when they tag friends below, they get a private link for the thing that they already wanted to do and they get a cheaper price, and all 5 of their friends can have the same opportunity. They can tag 5 friends and they can get the private link for a cheaper price. Absolutely brilliant, and took me all of 5 seconds to think of when I sat down, because I thought like, okay, these workshops, I want to reach new people, newer coaches. A lot of the coaches, you know, following me are seasoned, have been with me for a while. Like, okay, I don't do ads or anything like that. It took me 4 seconds to come up with that idea, right? That's what happens when you learn the skill that I'm teaching you through here. We're learning to pinpoint the things that happen to be holding you back and that will break you through to the next level. Remember I said in the beginning, my gift is to see that space in between, but it's also to see the hole that we could fall through. It's very easy for me to be like, oh, that's going to be a problem, and oop, that's the way to get to the next level. I've learned to just target those specific things for me, because what's holding me back in my belief is different than yours. So these, you know, like I love one of my other coaches. She's always giving these journal prompts and stuff, and half of them are very brilliant, and most of them will serve you in some way. But nobody ever taught me to target me, the art of self-study, to fucking know me, Mandy Perry, and my shit, and my gifts, and my skills, and my creativity. Nobody taught me that. And this is what's missing in the bridge. You have these brilliant fucking ideas that have been untapped into, this creativity that only you will ever bring to the table. I'll give you all the ideas I've already come up with, but the skill that I want you to do is to learn in both these areas. In your personal, in your mindset, and in your business and action taking, I want you to hone into the very specific things for you and master the art of overcoming them. Master the art of letting it be important. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is very different than how everybody else is showing up. This was the difference. When I sat down, I was like, okay, what are you doing and what I'm doing? I was like, oh, why are you wasting all of the time on that stuff? And then I watched tons of resistance come to me on them, like just resisting letting it be easy, or resisting actually looking dead at their own shit. So obviously over the years I've learned, like, okay, we're scared to look at our own shit. We're scared to say the thing out loud, where, you know, we have trouble believing that it could work or it could be easy. All of these different kind of things going on. And then I found the sequence to learn how to navigate both of those things. And that's what money mastery is. Does this make sense? Yes, instead of making external process know our yes, Catherine. Yes, I love this. Absolutely. Yes, such a thought by thought, moment to moment thing. Excited to be much more intentional with it. I love how you get us to think for ourselves instead of just copycatting what everyone else is doing. Look at the fucking brilliance in this program. I love you guys. Yes, 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 yes to every fucking thing that was just said. And now the art of it is letting everything else go. Like, it's just put it on pause for a second. All that other complicated, fancy stuff that you keep getting sucked into, we're just going to push pause. Nothing bad's going to happen. We're just going to push pause. That's it. And we're going to actually allow money making fast. Like, how are we going to make money fast right now? What's the thing that I can do to make money right now really fast, right? We're going to allow that to be the priority and be like, okay, what's all the stuff that comes up along this journey, right? So you already have the daily sales task. You already know that we're going to do 100 different ways to make money, and those are going to be posted. You already know that you're going to have triggers and thoughts that come up, and we're going to have to capture those. Put them online to us. Be like, oh, captured one of my thoughts. Let's call it something. What should we call it? When somebody does the work to capture their thoughts, which is so fucking powerful, right? It was like when I was trying to learn to stop drinking wine. I used to keep it on top of the fridge, and I walked over. I was trying to stop drinking wine as much at the time, right? So like I walked over and I would go to reach for the wine to pour a glass, and it was always like 6 o'clock, the witching hour, sometime between 4 and 8 o'clock, right? Like sometime in that hour, depending on what day of the week it was or something, or how stressful the day was or how I was feeling, whatever. And I didn't like, Mandy, go ahead, keep drinking the wine. Fucking do it. Doesn't matter. but you need to stop and admit to yourself what you're thinking before it. So before I would reach it, I would just stop and be like, oh, what am I thinking? Oh, I'm thinking that was a long day. You showed up really big. Now it's time to relax. Okay. How do you want to feel? I want to feel clear and sharp, ready to take on the kids, ready to, do what I like. Yeah. I want to feel like really tuned in with my kids and really disconnected from the business and focused on them. Okay. And how does wine make you feel? Foggy, groggy, like laying down on the couch and watching TV. Is that how you want to feel? No. Fuck. But you do want to feel relaxed and checked in with the kids. Okay. So what would make you feel like you've disconnected from work, you're relaxed, you're really tuned in with the kids crystal clear? A walk, putting music on and dancing, funny videos online. Okay, go do that. Okay. And all of a sudden I wanted to go do that. I didn't want the glass of wine. I just needed to recognize what I really wanted, and that wasn't actually giving me what I wanted. It was just a habit that I was doing. So I learned to stop and just recognize the story that was going on in the moment, and then quite naturally the behavior changes, versus trying to find all the ways to get myself to stop doing something that I wanted to do, right? Like I naturally just sort of recognized what I wanted wasn't going to give me what I wanted, right? So when I learned to do that, it was like I've learned to do that in every area of my life, with my kids, how I respond, with my team, just like, and now like with my team, I just say the thing out loud. I say the shit to them all the time, like, oh, like reselling my old programs. I had this story that all my old programs were shit. None of them were worth a penny. None of them. Not a single one of my old programs were worth anything. And I just had this weird story. And so I just would say that out loud to my team, like, I got this weird story going on that none of my old programs are worth money at all. And I would work through it with my team together, like, okay, I'm not really sure why I'm believing that, why I'm thinking that. We are going to resell the old programs. Let's get to it. I'll work through things as they come up. And then I use the system I'm going to teach you guys here. Like, I start taking action. There's no need to wait and to fix yourself and unfuck yourself to start taking action. You take action, and that action will flush up the things that you need to face, and then we'll do that, right? So, okay, back to what are we going to call it? So that moment when I recognized the story was, if I have a glass of wine, I'll relax and I'll be a better mom. Wine makes me a better mom. That was the fucking story. Like, oh no, thought, like, what do we used to call it? We used to call it the shit voice, the little shit voice, I think is what we used to call it. Golden to stop in the moment and solve it right there. And then just owning my shit. In the past, I would just take a note and work it out later. Ugh, that doesn't work. I just started doing this in the moment. Solutions truly released from the attachment. That will come so much shifting already. Yes, Jacqueline. I love it. Yes. Yes. Okay. And saying it out loud to other people is really fucking powerful, because you're just like, oh, that's how it is. Like, oh, I had this weird fucking story. This thing I've been telling myself, the story that I have, that I made up the story that, like saying to my team, like, oh, but my shit's not as valuable. But that doesn't serve me. I made up a story that all my old programs are fucking not valuable. There's no value in all my old programs. Right? Like, weird fucking story. Let's work through that story. And I've learned to just say it out loud, and I just say it with human beings. Like, I have this story that blah, 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 blah. And people aren't triggered by I don't remember who I learned that phrase from. There's a phrase like, I think Brene Brown. I think she came up with that. Right? Anyway, that's a piece I've added over time, is the languaging to go with things like that. But it's really about taking the action now and allowing the action, right? So people get frustrated when they go to do something and they can't get themselves to do it. I'm telling you, we're fucking celebrating that. Like, whoa, there's gold here for me. My soul is calling me to do this thing, but I haven't been able to get myself to do it. There's fucking gold there. And let me just tell you, when you work out the gold in that one thing, it translates to every area of your life. Every single shift you move in this area where we're doing to make money in our business, every single piece you move now here in this group, you will move in every area of your life. Every piece of transformation that happens in this program, you will transform in every single area of your life. So it's like, I did enough work to flush up shit that's happening. Congratulations. Not like, oh, look at me, I'm fucked up because I'm like, all this stuff is coming up. Are you kidding me? We're human. Every human has shit. That's what it is. Most people just stay complacent and don't flush it up. We're not like that. We celebrate when we did enough work to flush up the shit voice, right? I've been doing this work. I've also realized that what has been driving the roller coaster results I've had in my business was that the motivation to be successful is a mix of both moving towards helping others and being a healing presence, mixed with moving away, motivation of wanting to be free and just do what I want with. Well, you have come to the right place, sister, because the point of this is to set the goal, let the business dictate what's required. work through the shit that's stopping us from doing the power moves, and do nothing else. Go ride your bike, go play in your fucking garden, go do whatever, go fly your big fly kite, right? Like go do whatever the fuck your heart desires, because you showed up and you did the power moves to create and generate in the moment. And you also transformed, which creates massive transformation in your life. This is why people are getting caught up with, and it drives me crazy. Like from here, I can see like, why are you doing all of that stuff? Like what? Why are you doing that? Like you have a full-blown membership site and you've not even made 10 grand a month. Like what the fuck is happening? Why are you doing that? There's no judgment. It's just I'm just in my stomach is in knots. I'm just like, no, like I know how that must feel. I can only imagine how it feels to have done all of this shit and not gotten the result you wanted. And then the feeling of defeat and frustration that comes in. My God, that's a lot to contend with. Badasses, and we'll keep going, but not required, right? I've just been saying shit on my Facebook lives and you are totally right. It feels liberating. It's just being real, but it works shit out so fast. The antidote to shame is transparency. Brene Brown. That's why I'm here. Yes. Oh my God, I'm very excited. Okay, so this is the overview. Does this make sense to you guys? So you can start implementing where you want to implement. I think what I would start with is I would begin with, I just had like 5 ideas pop into my head. Hold on, I'm feeling out which one. If I were starting over and I was beginning this, what would serve me most? Honestly, this is where I would begin. 2 different places. I would start with the 100 ways to make money, right? In a perfect world, you're sitting down and banging that out in an hour all at once, because what happens is you'll do the first 10, maybe the first 20, maybe the first 30. It's all things that you already know. You're just taking from the iCloud. I tell you, like, I'm going to feel the shit out of your iCloud in this program. I'm going to tell you everything that I could possibly tell you, up the creative ideas and all the things, right? The sales task, all the money making ways that I know. I'm going to give that all to you because I want you to have that in your iCloud. That's super valuable. But that's not where the magic comes from. That's just like, okay, great. Those are ideas and they'll work, right? But the magic comes when you get past those first 40 ideas and you're going beyond what you already know, and you're actually tapping into the collective is what it is, right? But you're tapping into your creativity and allowing the wiser part of you hasn't been conscious of it, right? So you're taking, yes, I am going to say this. Okay. There is a part of your brain that's not how I want to describe it. Part of I've never actually tried to describe this out loud. It's a knowing that I have from studying the brain. Sometimes we feel like something is intuition and it's from soul and source and from a collective. And sometimes it's just all of your subconscious that has picked up on every fucking thing you've ever read, you've ever heard, you've ever learned, you've ever heard on the planet, seen, witnessed. All of the stuff that you don't have in your conscious is there. It's accessible to you, but the part of the brain that picks all of that up doesn't have language. So it's hard to translate that into a knowing, right? But you'll feel it, your whole body will be like, yes, that. Because it takes all of the stuff it's absorbed in your whole entire lifetime and calculates all of it really fast and spits out an answer for you. Also, we have our soul that's tapped into a collective that also spits out that same feeling. So you're tapping into both your biochemical, subconscious, reticular activation system, the stored consciousness that's inside of you that's not in your awareness, that is just literally the parts of your brain that you're not tapped into bringing to your current awareness, and that's coming through for you, but you're also tapping into a collective and an energetic field and source and soul, right? So it's really, really fucking powerful to sit down and go beyond what you're conscious of and tap into all the source on the other side of that to allow those creative ideas to come up. And I'm being really honest with you when I say all of the big things that have made a difference in my company, that have really created massive success, none of them were things that were taught to me. Nobody taught them to me. They weren't things I saw other people doing. They were just creative ideas I had because the question I had was, what's the easiest fun way that I could do this? Whether it was make money, or it was get more eyes on my content, or it was get more engagement, or it was whatever the thing was. I just asked myself the question, what's the funnest, easiest way I could do this and do it right now? What's like the things that I could do right now and it would happen right now and it's not complicated. I just do it, right? And I asked myself that question, and then I would allow myself the space and time to allow the creativity to come through. So the first thing I would do is the 100 money-making tasks. The second thing I would do is be really honest. And you can put that in the comments now. You can post it in the group. I would love for you guys all to say hello to each other. This is going to be a wild journey we go through together. So the other thing that you can do is you can just say the things the bullshit you already know that you're aware of. The stories about why you can't have what you desire, the stories about why money making can't be easy, the stories as to why this can't happen for you, it could happen for other people, the stories about why you're fucked up or the bad qualities about you, whatever it is, right? The behaviors you haven't been able to get yourself to do, like, but I'll never be able to do that, right? Like mine has definitely been like, you know, working out for sure. Over time has always been like, oh, I always choose work over working out. You're just that kind of person. Like, you're just kind of lazy, blah, blah, blah. It's like those stories. That's been my burden it's my arena to work out so much of my shit in. And I'm grateful for that arena. Same thing with bulimia, right? Like 14 years I was bulimic, and then, you know, 21 years I really contended with it. And then, that's an arena for me. When I feel that temptation coming back, it's like, oh, you're way fucking off, Mandy. What's off? And it's such a valuable gift for me. But really, it's just, if you just own the ones you already know and say them out loud, then when the newer, sneakier ones that we haven't really like let ourselves see and capture and fucking put on paper and be like, here it is, let's deal with the thing. It's just like sneaking around in this peripheral for you. When you say the things you already know, when you say them out loud, half the power it had over you is gone just from saying the fucking thing, right? Then the other half is rewiring it and doing the stuff I'm going to teach you to do that we've already covered, but I'll go into depth with that for you guys. Tips and tricks will really serve you with that as well. So that's what I would do. I would begin with the 100 ways to make money, and I would begin with just owning the fucking things you already know that you want to rewire, whether that's, you know, the mental beliefs or the things in your company. Like, I'm just shifting from like, there's something wrong with me because I must not be motivating because people aren't seeing my content, nobody's engaging. Well, what if you just fucking never sat down and thought, how can I get more people to engage? And you never actually implemented that and then stayed with that and learned how to get people in to engage. What if that was just a skill? And what if you give yourself permission to just be like, these are the skills I want to learn for my business. I want to learn how to get more engagement. I want to learn how to get more people to see my blogs. I want to learn, you know, how to write copy that I feel like is really powerful, that feels really good to me, whatever it is, right? Like, just own that that's a skill that maybe you don't have, and separate that from a definition about you and your ability to show up and do this, right? Because what the fuck does that have to do with coaching? It's nothing to do with it. Or what the fuck does that have to do with healing or doing your healing work or doing whatever the thing is that you're doing? It has nothing to do with it. Those are two separate skills. Like I said, if you took Oprah and like dropped her and like she had a different name and a different body and she showed up online, she's going to show up online and get birds chirping because she doesn't know how to get people engaged and all this stuff. Her team does that shit. She's Oprah, right? So we got to separate the two skills. So that is another area that you could begin with. Whatever flushes up and feels good for you, okay? Can we have a thread in the group to drop these stories? Yes. You know what? Drop the stories in the Q&A thread because I feel like they'll be good for us to cover and go over. Yep. And it'll keep the Q&A thread at the top for you guys too. That's perfect. Thank you for asking that, Catherine. You've activated that RAS with the empowering question. Yes. Yes. RAS is fucking powerful. It was the story about the astronauts that changed everything for me. When I understood, like, what happened was they gave the astronauts these goggles, and I haven't told the story for so long. They gave the astronaut these goggles, and it flipped everything upside down. So that way their nauseousness and everything, their body had to get used to being upside down. And unanimously, if for 25 days straight they kept it on, their brain flipped everything right side up. Because the brain was like, fuck this, it can't, like, reality on the outside has to match the reality on the inside or we'll go crazy. Like, that's, you go cuckoo, right? So the brain actually rewired its whole entire being in order to make upside down the new reality and flipped everything right back up. It rewired its entire self for that. I was like, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. And we have the power to tell our brain what reality is so that our brain will rewire its entire self to make that be the thing. And now remember, that's on top of tapping into all of what we've taken in everywhere, from every sound, every noise, every word, everything that we've ever seen, everything that we've ever witnessed, everything we've ever experienced, every feeling, emotion, knowing, all of that we're tapping into. It's unbelievably powerful. This is why I say it's extraordinary. It's absolutely extraordinary. And this is the path, this is the system that I've used to create that. So there's a couple different moving pieces to it. It's going to take a little bit of time to learn all those pieces. It might feel clunky in the beginning, but it's fucking magic and it's fucking amazing. And there's nothing stopping you from starting that literally right now today, starting to implement those things, taking action on the things that already get flushed up for you, and then noticing the thoughts or anything that comes up. Drop those in the Q&A thread. And I'll also support you guys in those. Tag me for anything. We have our 20-minute calls for the VIPs and the Plats. God, I'm fucking excited. I'm excited to see the transformation that happens in this journey with you guys too. And if I'm being really honest, I'm a little bit selfish and just looking forward to the relief I feel that some people are breaking through the mayhem that's going on, just fucking doing all these random things that people are throwing at me and wondering why I'm not changing and transforming and just trying to get myself to do it and trying to manifest it and fucking beating myself up because I'm not doing what I know I could be doing, or trying to hold all of these pieces that were never fucking required for you to get from point A to point B. Point A to point B is 4 steps, but yet people put in 47 steps and then beat themselves up for not being able to do all 47 steps. It's crazy. Ugh, done with that shit. Never again. We have calibrated to the new way of being where my business dictates what I'm going to do. My business has a goal. I have a map to get there. I do only those things and work out what's required for me to get from here to fucking there. That's it. End of story. Tapping into creativity, rewiring the bullshit that's standing there. Done. End of discussion. All done. I've been out of integrity in business because I was out of integrity in my marriage. Currently, possible divorce. Oh, with your girlfriend. I was there last year. Not honoring myself because I don't want to hurt anyone. He's an amazing man with an incredible father. We just don't bring out the best in each other. Why would I give up good to experience great? Judged myself in full transparency. Still working through this. That is really amazing. So, part of this is just, this is a saying that comes up, like, I've locked into this so many times, right? And I've thought about Brene Brown and these women that I fucking admire, Oprah Winfrey, and just so many of them, right? And I thought every single one of them had a story like that and had a part of their life where they were out of integrity, they were struggling, they were, not getting themselves to show up, but they're fucking human. And every single one of them felt unworthy to lead the way they lead. They felt unworthy to be the expert in what they were the expert in. They felt unworthy to be seen as, the person doing this thing, or to offer to help or to support or whatever the fuck they were doing. Every single person ahead of us that we admire so much had a very human story that they weren't worthy and they weren't enough and they couldn't be fucking amazing in this area. And they chose to not let that story rule them. They chose to be worthy. They chose to show up and to own who they fucking were. And they didn't let that story stop them. And I lock into that, right? Like, they didn't let that story stop them. And I fucking admire them. And success leaves clues. Ergo, I'm not going to let that story stop me, right? It's just like money mastery. I'm not fucking a master of money, but I'm money mastery Mandy Perry style, which is make fucking money right now and learn the path to get from point A to point B the fastest fucking way, the easiest and funnest way possible. I'm brilliant at that, but I'm just very clear. This is what it is. This is what it's not. And by the way, I have areas of my life that are fucking disaster. I keep picking guys that I'm like a mommy to take care of them. It's amazing. Right? Like, when are you going to fucking learn the lesson, Mandy? But guess what? This program is not about like fucking relationship coaching. I have a standard of knowing how I'm meant to be treated. And when that standard isn't met, I walk away. But guess who I keep picking, right? Like, there's still a picker that's broken. So I'm allowed to have an area of my life that's fucked up and I'm not that good at and that I need to still grow through. And I can still own my expertise in this area over here, right? I will never be a perfect human being. I will never be in perfect integrity. I will never show up perfect in every area of my life. I will always have work to do. I will always be transforming to the next level. And by the way, every time we hone in, like money mastery, the first thing that happened was like, whoa, these are all the areas my money shit's not cleaned up, because I locked into it. I allowed it to be an even bigger focus. And of course, we're the kind of person, when something comes into a bigger focus, we up level it even more. And it's just knowing like, okay, cool, that's where I'm at. But this is where I'm at. And this is where I can lead. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would kill to be where I'm at today. And there's people that are at 5 years and 10 years ago that would kill to be here. And there's things that I can do to support them in getting here. And I'm just locking into that shit. All the rest of it is by the waist. That's separate issues. It's like separating, this is emotional stuff that I have to rewire, and this is physical stuff that I'm aware of that I don't have a skill for, that I want to learn skills for. And I'm not attaching my ability to be a powerful leader because I don't know these skills yet. This just means I need to learn these skills to show up at an online company. They're two separate things, but people will mix it all together, and it's silly. It's the perfect excuse to procrastinate is what it is, right? Yes. It's like, we are all fucking human. And why do you think my business is like, if you go look at my description, it's the unfiltered coach? Because I know the number one thing holding people back is looking at these other coaches like, wow, this coach is perfect. But yet I know that I'm friends with these women. I know the back end of their life. And I'm like, they don't show the real shit online, because it's just not part of who they feel called to be. That's what it is. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but there's a consequence to this, because we look at them and we think like, oh, their life is perfect. Why do you think in the daily raw group, I just did a post today, like, I was in a fucking bad mood this morning. I admit it to you guys. I tell people I was depressed and in bed all day today. It's been kicking my ass a little bit. And I know these are the things to do to rewire, to get myself out of it. These are my power moves. I say the thing out loud and it loses the magic. This is part of what I do, because I know if we all could see the real each other, none of us would feel unworthy, because we'd be like, holy fuck, we're all the same. We all have the exact same shit going on. She's learned to calibrate to a different level in this one arena, and I really admire that. So I look to her as a leader in this one area, but that doesn't mean that she's any better or different. She's got fucked up areas in this and this. If you guys saw me flipping out my kids this morning, you'd be like, eh? Now, granted, that's not a common thing. I haven't done that for years probably, but I flipped the fuck out on my kids this morning. Like, clean up your fucking mess. Why is this everywhere? You guys never do what you're supposed to do. Blah. And I was just like, whoa, step back, Mandy. Like, what the fuck is going on? I'm really feeling suffocated and trapped here. Like, I can't go explore. And normally when I feel like this, I'll go travel somewhere. I'll go, I'll go to Bali for a week, or I'll go wherever I want to go. But that's not an option. I got to learn to calibrate to this now as this human being. It's like, who is Mandy in isolation? Okay, that's what Mandy's like in isolation. Let's learn how to take care of Mandy in isolation. But yes, if we all could just see the real each other, if we all just showed each other, and please allow yourself to be seen, really seen for who you are in this program, because we love you as you are, and we're all fucked up. We're all of us. Every single person in this group is fucked up, and every single person in this group has really powerful gifts that they're bringing to the table. End of story. One does not have to do with the other. I don't need to be perfect in my dating in order to be able to serve you and learning how to make money really fast. End of story. I get to be fucked up and brilliant all at the same time, because I'm a human being, and that's all there is to it. So, it's a little bit conceited for us to think that we have to be the one human being who's not human and who's perfect at everything in order to lead in one area. That's ridiculous, right? And you can lock into that human being who really, who you admire so much, and just know it didn't stop her. It didn't stop him. They chose to release that story and keep fucking going and showing up to serve, right? Exactly. Subconsciously, perfect excuse to procrastinate, putting it all here to embrace what am I? Rise, girl, rise. Yes, you are fully loved and accepted for exactly who you are right now, and just know that everybody else has their own fucked up shit too. End of story. And the people that don't, like, I've learned from becoming close friends with high level people, and I was shocked at first at how fucked up they are too, how messy their shit is, and how, like, even literally when I was in the Platinum Partnership, hearing Tony Robbins' way of thinking, I was like, even Tony Robbins, who's like all over the whole world, who's met millions of people, who's served millions of clients, who's, like heard from every culture and all these powerful, like the smartest, most brilliant people on the whole planet, he's downloaded from all over the world his whole life for fucking 40 years, thinks like that. That's fucked up, right? And I knew, like, in my soul, when you hear the truth, you know it. And when you hear someone say something that's way off, you fucking know it, right? And my soul was like, whoa, that's off. And I had this click moment of like, you never arrive. There's never a time when you're just like, I'm perfect now. I understand all things, right? Like, you're always going to have shit that you're fucked up about or don't understand. And the wiser you get and the smarter you get, the more probably humble that we get. I don't really know, but I feel like the more humble we'll get on just realizing that we get to be imperfect. We get to be fucked up. We get to have areas that are messy. Look at the most brilliant people. Now, don't use this as an excuse like me. We're a little seasoned. I use this as an excuse. That's not my intention here. But like, Einstein was super fucked up in his personal life, and like these great artists and the like really genius, brilliant, amazing people, which you fucking know you are. You're fucking brilliant. They were really fucked up. They had a lot of fucked up shit in their life. I call myself to I don't have to go through that. Just like billionaires have all gone bankrupt. Like, okay, I don't need to call that shit in, but also it's just being aware, like the people we admire most in life were pretty fucked up. Like they were very human. And the ones that admit it are the only ones we know. The ones who aren't admitting it and showcasing that their life is perfect, like there's a a person out there who was a mentor of like money, like a lot of money stuff. And then she was in a mastermind with me and someone else's program. We were in a mastermind together, and she was exposing all her fear about money. And she's like the person who talks about money the most. And it's like, yeah, of course you do. Because that's your focus. And that's because you're fucking human. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean she's not brilliant in what she does. She just was actually letting herself be seen that way in a way that she doesn't on public. My way of being is just choosing to let that shit be publicly be seen, because I feel like it serves everybody else to, I believe in participating in creating a planet where the real us is fully acceptable and we get to be the expert even with our shit. And if you notice, none of the shit that I exposed ever stopped you from being here. Here you are. Even though I told you the truth. I get fucking depressed and like I made a big mistake in the business. Even though I told you all of the actual truth about my life, like the real me, you have no idea. I'll go to post something and I'll be like, don't post that. Like, people don't need to know that shit. And I'm like, nope, that's exactly what you should be posting then. I get nervous to post my real shit, and it's tempting to pretend that I'm perfect and my life is perfect. I know how to do it. I watch people do it all the time. It's like, they just like, everything's always perfect, and look at me. Like, I know how to show up like my life is perfect online. So easy to do. I choose not to, right? And when I get triggered to show up and do that, I do it on purpose. I say the thing out loud on purpose because I'm calling myself to that place and choosing to believe that who I actually really fucking am, as is, no exceptions, no hiding, no nothing, is good enough to serve the people that are meant to walk with me, because what they will feel isn't like, oh, I want some perfect leader. What they will feel is like, fuck, she's human too. She figured it out how to do it while she was fucking human. I want to learn from that bitch. And I'm just like, yes, of course, my people would think that way. Other people don't think that way. They're like, oh no, like I want to be perfect like this person, and they'll go learn from that person. Great. But my people will be like, oh, I don't have to be perfect. And it'll feel like relief to them, right? And that's it. I just choose to tap into that over and over. Yes, fucked up and brilliant. That is pretty standard. Like, go look at the history of the brilliant people. They're pretty fucked up. Like, really super, like, hyper-focused on things and terrible relationships and all that other stuff. And we don't have to have that. I'm not saying, I'm just saying we all have our cross to carry. Yours is yours, mine is mine. It looks like what it fucking looks like, right? Like, I still overeat to this day. I know how to fucking rewind. And I'm just like, nah, I don't really want to. I haven't gotten the desire that I want to yet. Like, there's gonna be areas of our life where we just don't fucking want that yet. And it is what it is. Like, I'm just like, I don't want that yet. I like snacking on my corn chips while I'm writing. I don't know why, I just fucking do. And that's it. And I've done all the work. I know. I'm just like, nope, that's what I really want. Okay, that's what you want. So like, that's really what you want. Okay. And other areas of life, it's like, I want that, but it's not what I really want. It bothers me. Other areas is like, no, I really want that. It is what it is. Like, I still also like being a bit of a party girl. Like, I got a party girl in me and I don't want to let that go. I kind of like that. I've learned to be really consistent, not drinking in the house. I never have alcohol in the house, like all that kind of stuff. I love that about me. I've learned to be disciplined around it. But when I have that urge to like go buck wild, I do, which is probably why I'm flipping out a little bit now, because I'm taking that away from myself, which might be part of my seasoning. Who fucking knows? But there are things about me that I like about myself and don't feel the need to fix just because other experts say that you should. There's just innate things about me that I still enjoy. And I think when I'm 95 looking back at my life, will I regret that I did that? Or fuck no. Like, going out and having a couple drinks and like talking about the most inappropriate shit and laughing our asses off is the funnest thing on the planet to me. It is what it is. That's what I like. That's why in my daily raw group I was talking about like, hey, rappers and stand-up comedians get to say all the fucked up shit. Like, what if I called myself to that? What if I started saying the thought that like, this is how I really thought it, and this is how I really, like, that shit was actually funny to me? And what if, like, because it was funny to me, whether it was appropriate or not, I just started posting it? You know what I'm saying? Like, just really pushing the boundaries of being who you really are, I think is a lot of fun. And so in this program, you'll learn the difference. You never know. Oh, this morning, I thought this was mine. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. When you have this brilliant awakening or this thought or this thing that you've learned to teach because of all the things you've been through, and then you realize somebody else taught it like 2,000 years ago, and you're fucking pissed. That happened to me just this morning. One of the things that I teach my clients is you have to really go too far. You can't be scared to go too far, because trust me, where that place of too far is way fucking further than you think it is. And then you'll go too far. 4 years later, you'll finally go too far. And then you're like, fuck, there's the line. Okay, now I know where the line is. Take a step back, right? And yes, it's going to be challenging and hard. And yes, it sucks when you go too far and you have to clean that up. But now you know where the line is. And if you never get to that line, you'll think that you're at the line when you're years away from where that line is. And you'll never live to that potential. And just this morning, someone tweeted out a thing that was like, CJ Rollins? No, someone. And it was basically, you never know. It was basically like, you never know where the line is. I took a picture of it. It's my phone. You never know where the line is until you cross it. And I was like, what the fuck? Of course somebody already figured this out and taught it and said it way more gracefully than me. And I was like, I thought this was my own shit for the longest time. And then I was like, maybe I read that before and it like clicked and that's how I figured it out. I don't even fucking know. But it was like that feeling of like, oh, nothing's ever my own, right? Somebody already figured this out and taught it somewhere. I can't even do that. Pretend to be perfect. I want to be real. It is what it is, actually relatable. And the story is when I'm super messy, I haven't shifted out of it. I feel like I can't show up yet. Yeah. Look, in one of the interview questions, when someone asked why, oh, that was it. So when they asked me why I did, like, how do you not give a shit what people think? It was an honest answer. It just, I didn't get into why. The honest answer was because I value freedom. Like, honestly, it's kind of selfish. I'm so protective of my freedom that I couldn't be fucked to I'm going to pretend it's a certain way and live in this box for you so that you like me or so that I'll get a result or I'll make the sale or I'll whatever the fucking thing is. I'll be more of a leader. More people will like me. Like, I value freedom beyond almost all things. If I'm just being really honest, that's like a driving force to me. Like, I want freedom. And to me, it's freedom to know that I can still show up and serve while I am who I am. And I don't need to be any better in order to show up and serve right now. And it has been true all along, right? All along. Like when I had just gotten off of welfare and then one of my clients was this huge corporate CEO woman. So she was like the CEO of this huge financial corporation. And I didn't know. So I'm coaching her. We're like 3 or 4 weeks into coaching and she tells me who she is. And meanwhile, I just got off of welfare. And the first thing I say to her is like, you know that I was on welfare a couple months ago, right? Like, I just got off of welfare. I've just figured out how to do this online thing. And yes, I was having powerful, rapid results, like really, really fast. But that was the first thing out of my mouth. Like, I'm not going to be inhibited. Like, and I was like, can I serve her? And it was like, yeah, she doesn't know how to do what I'm doing. I figured out how to do this thing. It works really well. I can serve her in teaching her how to do it. She's been loving my coaching so far. Like, does it fucking matter that she's a CEO of a huge financial corporation? No, it doesn't matter at all. But of course, on the inside, I felt unworthy. I felt like, oh, what the fuck? Like, why are you, like, this is basically, I'm teaching you how to make money. And you're like the CEO of a huge financial corporation. And, you know, like now I obviously help massively successful entrepreneurs. But back then that was like, but the first thing out of my mouth was like, nope, okay, but you know this, right? Like, you still want to do this? And she's like, absolutely, I love this. Like, I don't fucking care. I can see that you have a gift for this. She could spot that she was smart enough to spot that. And so I just let it go, right? Like, it is what it is. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm not. If you will only learn money from a coach who also knows how to invest it and properties and all this other kind of stuff, then I'm not your girl for you, right? But if you don't care about those results and you want to learn this specific thing, I can teach you this specific thing like nobody's fucking business. Like, I have never met anybody else who's gone from zero with no business experience to 400K and gone global year one in their company ever in my life. I'm the only person that I know of that's ever done that. I know there's people out there, I just haven't met them yet, but I've never met anybody else who's accomplished that. So I'm the fucking girl to go to for that. Not this other shit though, right? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's really good to isolate those. And the purpose program that I gifted you guys for the bonuses will help support you in, you know, getting clear what your values are and the driving things inside of you, but also you already fucking know, right? Like, if you just stop and ask yourself, like, this is the filter I use, like, what's the fucking thing to come to me for? Like, I'm your girl for this, not this or this or this, but this. Like, yep, you came to the right girl for this. Like, Mandy, I just can't figure out blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, you came to the right girl. Like, I got you. That's easy. Easy, done. What's fucking easy for you, right? And it's like, you already know what it is. Stop pretending. When my clients get on the phone and they're like, I don't really know what my message is or who I'm here to serve. And I say, okay, well, what would you say if you did know? They always tell me. They never say, or they might say, I don't know, a couple more times, but I don't let it go. And I just say, what would you say? And then they fucking tell me. Always. Always. Yeah, and if you find yourself being stuck with something like that, you can, you know, upgrade to the VIP or the Platinum. You can get on a 2-hour call with me. The breakthrough in the 2-hour call is unmatched, really. It's so much time that we get to spend together. It's massive, right? That's why people love them. Truth unfiltered. Yes, you won't know how far you can go until you go too far. I've been thinking that lately too. I popped out with freedom as a core value I can relate. Hashtag we are all the same. Do you see? Yes. Okay, girls. I am so fucking excited for this. So I'm going to schedule the next training, and we're going to do a longer one like this, and then I will put a Q&A after that next training. You have things to get started on. The first training will come up very shortly, and then we'll go over, there's going to be the homework, right? And we'll go over the next things. The Q&A thread is there. Feel free to already put your questions in there. Feel free to already put those bullshit stories in there, the shit voice that likes to come up and pop its head out. You know, feel free to post in there, tell us your ahas, let us get to know you, all of the above. And then seriously, if you need to put a reminder in your phone for the celebrations, put a reminder in your phone, because celebrations is huge and you will raise the vibe of this group. You will get powerful, massive results in your life. Like, all things will be transformed from fucking celebrating. Every little tiny thing, every little proof and evidence that everything is working for you and it's all working out and everything is fucking amazing and you're here to do amazing work and you're amazing. All of the above. The money is coming. It's all coming. It's all working out. End of story. And every little piece that we can pull in to fucking celebrate that and expand that is massive. Oh yeah, freedom is so big. This is the pathway to freedom. End of story. Right? I mean, like, this is it. This is all encompassing. Okay, I love you guys. I'm going to go in and schedule the next training right now. I will post it in the group. I'm just going to schedule them as we go. Again, we'll bounce back and forth between night and morning to cover everybody's time zones in here, and put any questions you have in the Q&A, post your celebrations, say a hello video in the group so we can all get to know you, and feel free to get started on the homework and get the ball rolling immediately, pronto. Okay, I love you very much. Also, if you feel like this program will serve anybody, now that we've had like a big overview, if you feel like anybody's missing out, I mean, this honestly is like a 10K program. This is for people who are like showing up, getting the stuff done. I could have easily run this as a high-end program, done deeper dives with people, but I chose to do it this way so everybody could access it. If you just feel like anybody's on your heart that you feel to share this with, or let them know your experience so far, feel free to do that. I'm probably gonna do a post on Facebook in the group, and, you know, just sort of share, and like maybe you guys could comment below. You know, I feel like this was going to transform in like many, many people's lives. And sometimes having other people say like, yes, get your ass in this program really serves them and supports them. So we can do that too. But if this, if you feel to share this with anyone, feel free just to love on them and just get them out of the throwing shit at the wall place and wasting so much time and energy instead of giving their gifts to the people. That's the whole intention, right? It's like, together we rise. That's it. Ooh. Dismissing that feeling, locking into this feeling. I love you too, Catherine. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited. I didn't even know. Okay, guys, I love you. Have an amazing day. I will post the timing for the next training. Feel free to start throwing your shit in the Q&A. I'm now just repeating myself. I don't know why. Because I just am. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Bye.